Recording in progress.
Right. Welcome everyone to this is our conditioning class, functional conditioning class. So we're getting the name. So for this class, again, we will be working out. It's a little bit more active, not as active as the earlier classes in the week, but we still have some exercises to cover. And then outside of this class, next class is going to be stability and balance. So that class is going to be more balance, a little bit of stretching, a little bit of core, but not as intense as this one, even if we want to consider that. And then just a reminder, we are not meeting tomorrow through Zoom for this class or the next one. We are meeting live in person. We're meeting at the Starbucks next to, or at the cross streets of Brookhurst and Edinger out there in Fountain Valley. We'll be going out for a walk, regrouping. Hopefully, you guys are able to meet each other, and I meet some of you for the first time as well in person. But yeah, that's what we're doing tomorrow. So I will eliminate the Zoom link from the page. If you happen to not join us, then what I'm going to do is just add a substitute workout onto the Canvas page. But I'll remove the link so there's no confusion. Okay? So outside of that, let's go ahead and start with the warm-up. All right, so let's go ahead by looking left to right. And if we want to consider, an easy day out of the week, I would say this day kind of takes it a little bit easier, or as more up and down, or as challenging as you want to make it. It's just different movements, a lot of body weight, more functional. So try to move the body in exercises or manners that we typically move on a daily basis. So neck circles, just capping off the week. This is week 7 already, so 3 more weeks after this one, and then we are done with the summer. Switch. So yeah, my buddy Dan, today's his 60th birthday. Let's do our snow angels. So initially he had intentions of doing 60 miles today, and then he had a little bit of a setback with some training and I think a hamstring injury. So he decided to do 60 kilometers instead, which is still quite a bit. It's about 37 or 38 miles. So that's what he's doing right now. So he's running still. I got up at 3:45 this morning. Let's bring that right arm across. And we started at 4:45. I ended up doing 19 and a half or 20 miles with him, and then I had to run a mile back to my car to come back home. So he's probably at about a marathon now, so he'll probably have about 10, 11 more miles to go. I was really considering, after I'm done with these classes, if he still has a few more miles to go, that I'm gonna go back out there and run with him at the end. But I think I'm done. I don't think I'm gonna go back out. So I'm already showered up, feeling good. So let's do reach up towards the ceiling. That was my longest run ever too, so I was happy with it. Let's lean right. Ooh. My feet are burning. Left. Morning jam. Trunk rotations. I think today is Spain and Belgium that play. I think they're playing here in LA too. Alright, let's go ahead and do our ab circles. So wide stance, lean forward, foot across, pump. Big hula hoops. Hi, Jen. Big hula hoops. I don't know what movement we did over the last few days, but my shoulders were aching. Oh, I think I know what it was. I think it was the shoulder complex that we were doing, I think yesterday. My shoulders were tired. Switch. Let's go ahead and do our quad stretch. We'll do these barefoot. I think today's workout I'm just gonna be barefoot. Tired of having shoes in my feet already. So quad stretch. So I have to take Julian with me tomorrow morning. So we're gonna have a grumpy 4-year-old with us tomorrow because he's gonna want to be sleeping at that time. Let's switch. I'll take the giant stroller for him, but hopefully I'll take his scooter. I think he'll be fine with his little scooter. There's not too many crossings, right, Jen? With like cars going through, like the walking path. Maybe a few.
Correct. There's hardly any.
Okay. Cool. Because I could just tell him go to that tree and come back, and I'll do that for an hour and a half, and he'll be napping the rest of the day probably. So.
Yeah. The most challenging is getting from the Starbucks over to the park.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that.
Which is right at the beginning, so
yeah.
that's fine.
Oh, yeah.
In the end.
Cool.
And then there's
Hamstring
one signal light to cross over the driveway by the golf course.
Right. Yeah, I remember that. Okay. Yeah, he'll be fine with the scooter then. Hamstring stretch. And then last one, we'll go with our deep squat. So remember, for this class is functional conditioning, so we'll be doing some strengthening, but some of it's stuff that we typically don't do. This is one of our new classes, so we just got a little bit more creative with this one with some of the strengthening. And rise. Alright, so have your water nearby. I believe we had a yoga mat part of this workout as well. So have your yoga mat ready, probably a chair too. So let me go over what the workout's going to be. Alright, so we have on the floor, we have dumbbell wood choppers. This is where we are here. Again, dumbbell coming across, opening up the obliques right there. We have a push-up with a side plank turn, and then push-up in the other side. So that's kind of a compound movement there, multiple movements. We have a kettlebell curtsy lunge. Okay, so we're here holding the kettlebell, and I'm just gonna do my body weight because my legs are hurting, and then we're gonna do a bear crawl with the kick through our knees. So almost like a mountain climber, but we're a little bit more tucked in that bear crawl position. Okay, so we're gonna be on the floor, on kneeling, standing on the floor. So yeah, so have your yoga mat set up. We'll definitely need it. So we have 4 exercises on this one. Okay. Alright, and I have 4 sets, so we're going to do 1 round of each, and then if we have time, we'll come back and do a second round of everything, okay? Alright, so grab your dumbbell. You have a dumbbell. This is going to be 12 wood choppers on each side. So we're kneeling. I'm gonna go right knee bent in front of me first. Okay, so again, I'm holding it by both ends. I'm here, and then I'm going diagonal, and then coming back, okay? So again, just take your time. Slower is better. We want just max range of motion. So get that big stretch. Come through. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Try to keep those arms straight. Make sure you're breathing. So as we're opening up, inhale and then exhale here. Okay, so inhale, exhale. 2 more. Very good. All right. Then we're gonna switch. When you're ready, if you're ready to go without much rest, then go ahead and begin. So just switch. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're doing 12. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Ooh, that 7-pound weight got heavy towards the end. All right. Okay, so recover a little bit. We still want to take about 30 seconds rest, maybe 40. So this one I'll demonstrate. So this one's going to be a push-up and then a rotation up, okay? So then a push-up here and sky reach, okay? So that's what we're doing on this one. We want to do a total of 10 of these, so 5 on each side. So if you need to take 2 sets of 5, you could do that, okay? So you could do 5, take a break, maybe 20 seconds rest, and then do your other 5. But let's try to get at least 10 total. And again, you could do 3 sets of 3, or maybe 2 sets of 5. But yeah, let's try to get this done. Ready? And begin. So, reach, push up, and then reach. Remember, you could do knee-assisted push-ups with these. Not only getting the chest workout, but you're relying on that one single arm to hold your upper body up. So you're getting a nice shoulder and core workout as well. 7, 8. Remember, if you need a break, take it. 9 and 10. All right. Take a little bit longer break. We'll take about 40 seconds rest in between that one. Take your time. To rest our arms, we're gonna skip the bear crawl posture one. We'll do that one last. So next we have the curtsy lunges, okay? So we'll start those in about another 30 or 40 seconds. Still see some folks doing the push-ups. Again, take your time. There you go, Jen. Alright, so we got curtsy lunge next. So yesterday to prepare for this run, I usually carbo load. So I ate this small, it's pretty small, medium-sized pizza from Costco. I ate the whole thing, which was like, I was able to do it. It wasn't like their huge Costco pizzas, but the stomach was great. But I think I rushed into eating it because I was so hungry, so I rushed into eating it. That the how hot it was burned my tongue and the roof of my mouth. So now it's pretty raw. So I feel from like just a run, like my tongue just got more raw. But that's what I'm aching from that meal. So we're doing 12 of the curtsy lunges, okay? So we're here. Remember, going this way. And if you want to go body weight, totally do it, okay? We've had a long week of workouts. No, you're totally fine. So, all right, so 6 on each leg. And go ahead. You could have that dumbbell here if you like. My legs are pretty destroyed. So 3. Remember, these are slow. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think we've done 16 in the past, so if you're feeling good, go for 16. I'm gonna go for it. May as well. We're not meeting tomorrow for this type of workout. And 16. Okay. Alright, and I'll demonstrate the next one. Just gonna be a bear crawl kick through. So start all fours, covering 1 inch, rotate your hips to the left, lifting your left. Okay. So yeah, so this one, we're in the bear crawl here, and this is gonna be a lift if you can, okay? If we can't do that motion, then keep your hands together and just lift that leg, and then just alternate, okay? But we still always want to remain in this bird crawl position. All right, so this is gonna be 6 lifts on each side, so a total of 12. Okay, ready? So get in that bear crawl position, which is quadruped with your knees elevated, and begin. It's almost like a bear crawl with a fire hydrant. Woo. Arms feel like jelly. It's 12 there. Very good. Alright, that's our first round. So we're going to go ahead and get ready for our next set. So we'll take about 90 seconds rest. Okay, we're going to do dumbbell thrusters. Okay, and then we have bent over rows, which is going to be here. We could do the gorilla rows, which is a little bit wider, and then just come up. So they're the gorilla rows. We're going to do staggered stance Romanian deadlift. So that's going to be a single leg deadlift. Pretty much, we're just going to be here. Front leg is bent, dumbbell, you hold it here, and then come back up. Okay? So that's single leg, but with a little bit of support. And then we'll finish off with Supermans that are with the W motion. We'll do those on the floor. Okay? Alright. So have 40 seconds rest. We'll grab your water, catch your breath. I think I'm gonna be submitting the form for re-enrollment today, so I'll take care of that. Alright, grab your dumbbells. We have 10 to 12 thrusters. Okay, so remember thrusters, we're here, 12 stand squats, come here, up and press. Okay, so 12 of those, 10 to 12. Ready? 3, 2, 1, and go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Alright, 30 to 40 seconds rest. Let me check my email. Just got an email from Carmen. Not sure what's going on. Okay. She's not in here, but she just says she's looking forward to tomorrow's walk. I should be like, I'm gonna respond to her and be like, come into class right now. We're waiting for you in class. Hurry. We won't start without her. We got our first set. So this is the gorilla rows. Okay, so this is a sumo stand squat, but now we're bent over and we're just going here. So you see how the dumbbells are gonna be close, but on your way up, they come wide. Okay, so try to go from inside to out. Ready? 3, 2, 1, and go. We're doing 10 to 12. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Whew. I feel like that's a good one to lift heavy weight. Alright. So now we have our staggered stands or one-legged RDLs, Romanian deadlift. So that's going to target the hamstring and the glute. So this is going to be one leg at a time. Okay. So again, reminder, we are holding the dumbbell with both hands. Back leg is staggered. If you want to work on your balance a little bit, keep that leg straight back. If you're not too concerned about your balance and just kind of want to play it safe, just make your stance a little bit, instead of back here, a little bit wider out, okay? So, all right, we're doing 8 on each leg. Ready? And begin. So keep that dumbbell, even if that handle's touching your leg the entire way down, that's perfectly fine. Okay, so just hinge at your hip. That handle of the dumbbell is making contact with my leg until it reaches my ankle. We just don't want that dumbbell like way up front, because then that's gonna put a curvature on your back. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Whew. Right, next is gonna be the other leg, okay? Starting in about 20 seconds. Stop this fan right there. This fan rotates way too much, so it's not hitting me directly. Right, right leg forward, stagger that back foot, and begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right. We have 8 on each side. Alright, and then our last ones are Supermans on the floor. If we're having trouble getting on the floor, you can always do these standing up against the wall. Remember, we want to go elbows in to out, okay? If you're prone on the floor, then I want your legs elevated, chest up, and we're going from here to here, okay? We're doing 12 of those. Try to do them slowly, okay? So, alright, belly down. And begin. So elbows in, and then stretch them out. And we're doing 12 of those. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Very good. Good work. All right. We have next we will be standing for all of those. So it's going to be a dumbbell lateral to front raise over here. Then we have a lateral lunge. And this is going to work a little bit on balance. So in case you're missing the next class, you're getting some balance work here. So it's going to be a lateral lunge with the knee drive. So this is how it's going to look. You step right, you drop your hips, and as you're dropping up, come up, okay? And then you step here. If we're having trouble with balance, just step, come here, and then drive that knee, okay? So the first variation would be here, down, and that leg just goes up. The other one would be here, you step, and then you go up, okay? So that would be the second option. We have wall reaches, which is gonna be a calf raise, but you're reaching also with your upper body, stretching out your arms and your back and your calves. And then we have inchworm with the plank walk in as well. So you do an inchworm, but then you also crawl with your feet to stand up on the opposite side. That's only 6 of them, so that one's not as taxing as the regular ones. All right, ready? Let's grab those dumbbells. So lateral raises to front raises. If we're ready, 3, 2, 1, and go. So we're doing 8 of each. 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, and 8. All right, 8 of those. All right, so now we have our lateral lunge with the knee drive, okay? This is gonna be 5 on each leg for a total of 10, okay? Ooh. Main thing is the lateral lunge. If we wanna avoid that knee drive or we're not feeling it today, at least give me the lateral lunge because that's the main movement on this one, okay? Ready? So step right here and then drive that knee up, back down. That seems like too much. Here, step back and then lean up, okay? But as long as you're doing that lateral lunge, that's like 80% of the exercise. One more on each side. Time. Get some water. Alright, finding an open wall, no obstructions. And we're gonna do calf raises with the wall reach. Okay, so we're here and we're just reaching up and then coming down. Reach. So your fingertips should be extending, okay? So give me 10 of those. Go ahead. And try to keep those arms extended for about a second before you drop back down. Alright. So next is inchworms with the walkthroughs. So if you remember these, we're here doing an inchworm. So you're in a high plank and then you walk with your feet to it and then back up. Okay? So 8 of those. Okay? Ready? So again, you walk into a high plank and then you walk your feet into your hands. So you're using your arms a little bit less on this one than you're on your traditional inchworm. Just you kind of break it up with your legs as well. But I like it because it does get you in an awkward position on that high point where your feet are close to your hands, which is good for your mobility. Because you're pretty tucked in into like a little cocoon. Yeah. Even cardio wise, it's not as taxing as a regular inchworm. Last one. Alright. Good job, Jan. Josefina. Good job, everyone. Alright. We're going into our last block. Okay. So we have suitcase walking lunges. This is where we hold the dumbbell on one side of our body and it's helping us with our posture and our balance. So only a dumbbell on my right side. Okay, so we're gonna do 6 lunges, one direction. Once you get to that 6th one, switch to the other hand and then come back the other way. Then we're gonna go ahead and do, we have fast feet with toe touches. So it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, toe touch. 1, 2, 3, toe touch, or floor touch. Okay, and then after that we have 2 movements on the floor, which is gonna be a plank roll and a crab walk to support our shoulders. Okay, all right, we should be good after that. Then we'll transition into the next course. All right, so grab your dumbbell, find your nice straightaway because we want to do 6 lunges. So again, suitcase lunges, we're doing 6. So once you reach your 6th one, then we switch hands. 4, 5, 6. Alright, once you're at that 6, switch to your other hand and begin with the lunges again. goes there. All right. We got our fast feet with our ground touches. This is gonna be for time, so we're doing 30 seconds. Okay, so remember, you're doing toe taps and then drop down. So it's like a little sumo squat in there as well. Okay, ready? We'll start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. So I do about like 3 or 4 toe touches before I drop back down. And I have bad rhythm, so the first few steps are a little off. 10 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, time. All right, last 2, we're on the floor. Okay. We have plank rolls. And if the plank rolls are too much, just give me a regular plank. Regular plank should work. Plank rolls just adding a little bit more mobility and your obliques into it. Okay, so again, plank rolls, you're here, you're rotating your hips side to side. Regular forearm plank, you're just supporting yourself here. Alright, this is gonna be for 30 seconds. We'll start in 3, 2, 1, go. Halfway there. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. And our very last one is our crab walks. Crab bridge. Sorry, not crab walks. Crab bridge. We're here, tucked in, hips off the ground. And if you can, just tap your opposite knee. Okay? If we can't do that, what you could do is raise one foot and alternate. And if you're really good at this one, is you would do both. Okay, so you lift, you tap that lifting knee across. Okay, so we're doing this for time as well. So again, just you could be lifting either limb or both limbs if you're a little bit more advanced. For time, ready? 3, 2, 1, go. We're at 15 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, time. All right, good work. All right, let's do a little bit of stretching just from this kneel position. I don't want to do the quadrupeds yet because we'll be doing quite a bit of that on the next class. But we're kneeling here. You could bring your right leg out and then just lean forward. Support yourself here. Alright, turn your torso to that extended leg and bring your back arm over and reach. Relax. Other side. So left leg is extended. Let's lean forward. Alright, let's bring that right arm over. Stretch. Turn your torso. And relax. Alright, folks. If you're with me at 10 o'clock, I'll see you very soon. And if you're not, hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Remember, we're not meeting through Zoom tomorrow. We're meeting in person. Details are on the email I sent earlier a couple days ago. But any questions before we head out? I'm going to go upload this video. Alright, folks. I'll see you in a little bit.
I won't be able to join tomorrow. Sorry.
Neelam, come on. Alright. Well, hopefully next